Hi, welcome back to Miranda's Cauldron. Let me remove these banners because, we don't need them. Let's see how I can actually remove them without using any. Let me see. I'm just going to do this. And I'm just going to leave the one on the ticker one because, of course, this weekend is Saturday, is Double Down Day. Whew, what a day. It was fabulous. It started with going to Kay's for a little bit. And then I took a little break because, I quite didn't finish chapter 39. Then I came back about a half an hour before Jen's sprints and continued with my revisions and typing up all my corrections and reading it through this last chapter, which is a solace. And I was almost done. I had like maybe a page and a half left to do by the time like an hour ago came across. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay until I finish it. I was able to finish it up in half an hour, well, a little less than half an hour, but maybe 20 minutes. And then I put it onto Google Docs to share it with my critique group, my critique partners. So that's good. So that's another one of my goals for the year was to have, which is a Solace Book 1, share with my critique partners, mastermind group, thanks to Publish and Thrive and Sarah and George. So that's another one of my goals. And yes, this is the full moon. And I'm going to do some tarot cards. And I'm even going to do a few extra ones that I haven't done yet. Let's see if I have these cards with me. Well, I have one of them with me, but I do not have the deck that my daughter gave me, and I don't have the oracle cards I was going to use because it's downstairs. And hello to Jenna. Let's get the cards out I'm going to use. Okay, to just a warm up, I'm going to use the runic animal cards. If anyone's familiar with runes, we've got animals, familiars, and runes. Can't go wrong. I wonder if I can actually take that off because I know people can take them off. But you know what? It's not worth it. Just going to leave it. Okay, so shuffling the cards. Going to use this one. It seems to get this a lot. You think I would remember them? I'm really bad at pronouncing these words. I was, maybe, I don't know. But if I remember correctly, is it to do with sunshine? No. Rebirth, spiritual awakening, protection. It's great for the 31st of October. Has a serious nature and the light, a swift energy of renewal. A rune representing the mysteries of life and death. Very good, considering it's the end of the year soon and the beginning of the next year. I have this deck. I've had it for quite a while. I think I got it at a trade show in a very small town. It's the goddess cards of a lot of different beliefs. Oh, two flipped out. Okay, so we have, this one is for Athena. It's presented by the Greeks as the virgin goddess of war and wisdom, a symbol of courage and friendships, and often counsels warriors to gentleness. And the next one is El is the Norse god of the underworld, a mother goddess in her underworld disguise. She rules over fiery room and of regeneration and especially responsible for those who die of disease or of old age. Interesting. Okay, put those away. Going to bring up the light seers because that's everyone. I'm not going to say everyone, but that's a lot of people's favorites. And if you're familiar, been to my channel before, you know I have 2 of these decks. The first deck I got, it did not come with the book. It was a little bit smaller than the normal tarot. And then I found this pocket size one. Nice little tin box. So I use it most of the time. It's a lot smaller than your typical card. Like, there we go. Oh, and I don't want to look at the cards when I turn them. Yeah, isn't it nice? It's so pretty. And actually, I got this deck because Sarah was using it for one of her lives. Well, hello, Madam Mama Maggie. Oh, there we have a few of them that flopped out. So I'm going to use them. We have the Queen of Swords. Aldous and I say hi, and we love the blanket behind you. Isn't that so cool? It was when I saw it at my friend's antique shop. She's got like antiques and new age and stones and tapestries. I saw that and I thought it was going to be a lot larger. So it fits perfect there. And then I've got this one on my door. So that is the Queen of Swords. And I think the queens in our life are trying to tell us something. Queen of Cups and the Fool. I'm just going to draw the bottom of this deck and see what it says. 6 of Swords. So we'll go with the Queen of Cups. No, the Queen of Swords was first. And of course, swords is to do with obstacles and overcoming hardship. I would say since this queen is pretty laid back and relaxed, she's pretty much recovering from her obstacles. That's in my opinion. A thought leader, unbiased decision maker, an excellent communicator, wise and logical counsel. And the little extra, I speak with wisdom and clarity. Then Queen of Cups, we all know the cups is with emotions. Extremely intuitive, a highly attuned emotional intelligence, love and compassion, sensitivity, strength, empathy. My intuitive heart openly expresses deep love. Then the Fool is at the beginning of their journey, without a care in the world. New beginnings, potential, adventures, enthusiasm, innocence, awakenings. And then the 6 of Swords. Remember, swords is also obstacles and hardships. And in this case, we only see one sword, but we see blackbirds. And I'm going to say they're ravens. It could be crows. Mama Maggie, who is spot on with tarot, says, so to be queens who overcome obstacles and emotional difficulties, return to the beginning, the Fool, and work through a time of change and transition, 6 of Wands, toward healing. Ooh, I like that. I wish I could just put the story together in tarot. Maybe that should be one of my goals this year for 2026, is actually read them, draw them like every day, and try to read them intuitively instead of always using the books. Because I, for one, I've had tarot cards, I want to say probably, I think I got my first deck. My kids are really little, so maybe 22, 23 years ago. I know I was drawn to runes first because they were so simple, and basically one rune means one or two things. So it was a lot easier to remember, and you can make your own. When my kids were really little, like my son was just starting junior kindergarten, so he would have been 4. Well, not quite 4. He would have been 4 on his birthday, which would have been that fall. And we were at the school that he would have been starting kindergarten at. And at the time, the playground was like little rocks, easy for kids to run on, kind of like the size of your thumbnail, really smooth. And my daughter and I collected the little rocks for our very first set of runes. Of course, she was like 2, so she really didn't understand them, but she loved playing with Mama's stones. And hi to Gwen. Came in for a fun conversation. Well, thank you for popping in. I don't think I've ever had this many people at one of my full moon tarot card draws. And I was just going to have just a regular sprints with full moon cards. But then I realized that Jen was also sprinting at about the same time I originally had my sprint open. So I decided I will just do the tarot later, and just to see how it goes. Because in about less than 3 hours, Jody June will be sprinting. And I know what I'll be doing during her sprints, and not revising and not writing. I think I'll just be reading a paper book, because after probably 6 hours of working on my last chapter, which is a soulless, and then I went out and fed the cats, and it was nice enough I can actually sit outside for a bit, that I'm exhausted. My brain needs to rest. I can't do any more writing. And then tomorrow, I probably will. No, tomorrow I'm going to be out of the house all day. Get to spend some time with the grandbaby. But when we get home, I probably will just. I should actually read through Lear on my proof copy. But I think I might just go back and read through Nexus, at least get some of that read through, the first few chapters. Gwen says, I was also drawn to runes first. I got my first rune set at 11. Didn't get my first tarot set until 16. Wow, I've been reading runes for almost 20 years. Wow, that's like me. I know I got my first deck when I was still living at home. Sure, I was in college. And that deck just kind of vanished. Probably because my boyfriend said that he didn't like tarot. Little did he know that a few years later I would have another deck and another, and now I think I have about a dozen. Yeah, and everything's fine. He just grew up in a family that tarot was evil. My eldest is learning tarot. Awesome. I didn't write yesterday, migraine, so I have to get to my my weekly word count despite today's migraines. Ooh, maybe you really shouldn't be writing with migraines, but that's your choice. Grandbaby, yeah. Little Robin is going to be a year and a half. And the youngest is going to be 6 months the end of this month. And we get to be together for the holidays, which is going to be so amazing. So we get to see my daughter and her little family about not 20 days because they're going to be here on the 24th because they're going to take 2 days to drive from Alberta. And asking about how old Mama Maggie's eldest is, 27. So my son is just a bit older. Like he's going to be 28. Wait, is he 28 or 27? I don't do math. I think he just turned 20. No, he just turned 28. Wow. Because our daughter's going to be 26 next month. When I have migraine days, I switch to handwriting, so no screen time, screen glare. That's a good idea. And Mama Maggie would know because with her and her migraines. I'm lucky that I don't get them very often. I just get like little headaches and just like going to lie down usually helps. Oh, this little box is not for my tarot. Okay, so I'm going to draw some Moonology cards. Well, you can't have a full moon without Moonology cards. And I have 2 decks. Where did the other deck go? Flutter in here somewhere. Can't be too far away. I would if my carpal tunnel and arthritis didn't flare. Oh, missed one. Writing despite migraines is my least destructive habit. My kiddo is the only grandbaby in the family, and her grandparents are so irreplaceable. Aww. Yeah, I don't get to see my grandbabies as much as I should. Well, one's 10-hour drive away, so that's understandable. But I am planning on taking a week or so and going in February for a week-long visit because I can take the bus. Sure, the bus takes a little bit longer time than a plane, but the plane is so stressful, and the bus, it's not. You take your carry-on, you can bring your suitcase, no matter the size. Really, no matter the size. I saw a big trunk, or one of those great big trunks, like a steamer trunk that went in. I'm pretty sure you can't take those in the plane. And they just throw it on the bottom of the bus, and you don't see it until you get to your destination, which is really nice. And Mama May is asking if you've tried dictation. Let's see, Moonology deck with the oracle cards. I've gotten this one a few times too. Nothing will come of this situation. And the moon phase is void of course moon. And it's kind of self-explanatory. And I understand you shouldn't be doing any sort of casting or divination, and well, not so much divination, but not so much casting on void of course moons. There we go. A little bit of extra explanation. The chances of something are diminishing. Something better may be around the corner. Believe that you will get what you need. Take time out, meditate. Gwen, I've had to buy a specialty processor application for my accent. I appreciate the suggestions. I really have tried it all. And sorry about the carpal tunnel and chat about that. Where is my... Oh, there they are. The pretty purple ones. And Gwen needs the reminder to meditate. That's something I really should get into. I'm not really familiar with it. Maybe that could be my problem. But my understanding is you just sit there and let your mind just go. So I think I already do it pretty regular with just that silence with your thoughts type thing. And another thing I want to get into for next year is yoga. I finally figured out how to switch the YouTube to my downstairs TV. So when I'm thinking the days that I know for sure my husband's going to be gone for work for a few hours in the morning, I should probably find myself a yoga channel, which I have a few on my subscriptions, and just try some. Like I used to do, there was a lady instructor that a whole bunch of us would get together once a week and we would go and do that. But since the pandemic hit the world, it was kind of just switched to online. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go online and still pay the same amount of money as if we were in person. That just doesn't make sense. I'm meditating on my hot chocolate and chocolate chip cookies. We need to get more hot chocolate. Send me some. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to use the pretty pink ones. Pink and purple and greens, all my pretty colors. Full moon in Virgo. Take inspired action. Very fitting, since it is a full moon and all. And another pretty one. Clear your mind. Last quarter moon in Gemini. There. And that is it that I had planned for today. My cards are all over the place. Maybe I will have an early supper. It is only 4:30 here. Maybe. And then that way I'll have some downtime. Oh, really fitting is so tonight's moon is Gemini. I can never figure out what the different Gemini full moon is in this month or that month. I just figure it's a full moon. I mean, I am likely wrong. Yeah, but you're a little bit more reliable than me when it comes to things like that. So how is everybody's writing doing? Are you in your plans? If you are into setting plans, are you actually committing yourself to them and getting things accomplished? For me, I know when I started the whole HB90 planning and setting goals, and was almost 3 years ago. No, it's already been 2 years that I've had the same goal. And that is to finish book 1 of Essence of Elements, have beta readers, which I did, and get it out into the world. At least I have it in paperback. And I'm pretty sure my next one I'm going to do in my proof copy will be Witches of Solace, because I like to read the pages that I printed out. And the last time I printed them out was about a year ago. And let's just say they're pretty colors. I don't know if you can make it out or not, but this is actually a pretty clean copy. It's the last time, other than today when I went through it, was a year ago last summer. And I have green mark pens all through it, and then pencil comments and things like that. But some of them are so bad you can barely see the printed. It's just paper, just pencil and color marker and color pen and all that stuff. So I'm thinking instead of printing it out, I'm going to put it into proof copy and go through it that way with the comments from my critique partners. I think I may do that because it'll be a lot cheaper, because I can get my book for like under $10. Yeah. Okay, Gwen shares. Need to write a fight scene, people versus a wild giant boar. Hopefully we'll get through the fight scene and into sequel by 4. Oh, you're on Mountain Time. Okay, so you're almost there. Actually, yeah, you're almost, because it's 3. I'm in Central Time now until the time changes, and then I'm back to Mountain Time because Saskatchewan doesn't change their clocks. I just read through one of my first. Well, I had one sword battle with 2 chapters, kind of short chapters, about halfway, not quite halfway, maybe about 10 chapters ago. And then I just finished 2 chapters with sword fights as well as magic fights and flying icicles the size of daggers. Yeah. Mama Maggie says, I've recharged writing on the Shadow Hunt. I hope to finish it this month. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. I hate to cut this short, but with today and my writing, I'm starting to get a headache. And my tummy's not feeling the best. So I think I'm going to go and lie down before I make supper. Thinking I might I know that we have hamburger left over from last night. So probably just fry up some hamburger and put in some onions and fun kind of stuff to go with it, since there's not very much meat left. And maybe potato salad, because we have a fair bit of potatoes left over from last night. And that's what my husband's going to say. Let's just do potato salad instead of, but I might throw them in the frying pan too. But, yeah. Use skewers and smoking sticks because bacon. Yes, especially if you're going to go after a giant boar. That is so, so true. Well, thank you all for popping in. I'm hoping to be back here for my next full moon, as well as my somewhat regular writing sprints. Writing sprints for me, I'll be back here on Monday next week and Wednesday. But I will not be here on Saturday because of Double Down Day. So blessings on this full moon, and I will see you guys all later, like this evening with Jody Jean, and tomorrow night with Jenna, because I'll be back before dark because our vehicle's having problems with the heater, so it gets pretty cold here in the evenings. Actually, it's quite nice out right now. I'm just looked at the number on my computer for temp, and it's -0 Celsius. So that's pretty awesome. Oh, thank you so much for sharing her sprint. That's the stream for Jody Jeans in 2.5 hours. So it'll be enough time for me to read and relax for a while. Find a paperback I want to read. Yeah, because I just finished my last paperback stuff, because I usually read a paperback to get me off the screens, as well as my Kobo app on my phone. Okay, so I will see you guys all later. Bye for now. And thanks for popping in.